Hello, 7th graders. Yesterday we talked about writing equations when given a point and a slope. Today we're going to talk about writing equations when given 2 points. All right, so just one step further today than what we did yesterday. We're not just given the slope, so we actually have to find it using our 2 points. So remember, when we have 2 ordered pairs, we have to label our x and our y of each. So we have our x1 and our y1, and our x2 and our y2. Now, our equation for finding the slope when given 2 points is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Nothing new here. We've done this before. So all we have to do is plug our numbers into our equation. So our y2 is negative 10 minus our y1, which is negative 6, over x2, which is 8, minus x1, which is 0. So when I add the opposite here, I get negative 10 plus 6, which is negative 4, and 8 minus 0, which is just 8. This simplifies to negative 1/2. That means our slope is negative 1/2. Now we're given our slope, and our y-intercept, remember, is just when x is 0, what is y? So our y-intercept, our b, is actually just negative 6. Now I can plug those into my slope-intercept form, the y equals mx plus b. Well, my m we found was negative 1/2, and my b is negative 6. And instead of writing plus a negative 6, we're just going to write y equals negative 1/2 x minus 6. There is my equation. Go ahead and pause the video and try this next one on your own. Come back and then see how you did. Same thing, first step, we need to just find our slopes. We have our x1 and our y1, our x2 and our y2. Plugging it into the equation, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So our y2 is 8. 8 minus our y1, which is 5, over our x2, which is 0, minus x1, which is 21. 8 minus 5, of course, is 3, and 0 minus 21 is negative 21, and that simplifies to negative 1 over 7. That is our slope. Now, keep in mind, when we're finding our y-intercept, then, we want to look for the ordered pair that has 0 as its x. It doesn't matter if it's x1 or x2, but the reason why we want to use this ordered pair is because 0 is in that x value, that is the x value. So then we know our y-intercept is just going to be what is the y value when x is 0. So our b then equals 8. And I can go ahead and plug in my slope, which is negative 1/7, into my equation, as well as my y-intercept, which is 8. And I get the equation y equals negative 1/7 x plus b. And here you can see I've plugged in both my slope and my y-intercept, negative 1/7 for m and 8 for b. So just like yesterday, sometimes x does not equal 0. We do not have an ordered pair that gives us what our y value is when x is 0. So we need to follow the following steps. We're first going to find the slope, just like what we did in the last 2 examples. Then we'll list out our given variables like we did yesterday, our y, our m, and our x. We can plug in our m for our slope for m and one of the given points for the x and the y. Doesn't matter which one you choose. Then we can go ahead and solve for the b, rewrite the equation y equals mx plus b with our slope and our y-intercept or our b plugged in. So first step, we got to find our slope. We have our x1, y1, x2, y2. And here is our equation. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we have 3 minus 5 over 8 minus 4, and we get negative 2 over 4. That simplifies to negative 1/2, and there we have our slope. First step is complete. Second step, we do not have any ordered pair where our x is 0. So we just need to choose one of them to plug into our equation y equals mx plus b. I'm going to go ahead and use this one. So my m, we know, is 1/2, negative 1/2. My y is 5, and my x is 4. These are the three numbers that I need in order to solve for my b. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and actually plug those numbers in. So we said my y was 5. Oops. My m was negative 1/2 times my x, which is 4, and I leave my b as it is. We don't know what that is. That's what we want to find. So I rewrote this equation over here so it's easier for us to solve. So I have 5 equals negative 1/2 times 4 plus b. Well, first, negative 1/2 times 4, half of 4 is just negative 2 plus b. That's what's left on the right side. And on the left, we just have that 5. I'm going to go ahead and add 2 to both sides, and I get b equals 7. I can rewrite it with my b coming first. This is just like what we did yesterday. So now we can go ahead and take our slope right here, negative 1/2, and my y-intercept, my b, which is 7, and plug it into my equation. Y equals negative 1/2 x plus 7. There is my equation. Go ahead and pause the video, try this second example on your own, and then come back and see how you did. All right, so I already went ahead and labeled each of our points. So we have our x1 and our y1, our x2 and our y2, and I plugged them into our equation, giving us negative 2 minus 25 over 70 minus 25. So negative 2 minus 25 gives us negative 27, and 70 minus 25 gives us 45. We finally can get our slope. When we simplify, it becomes negative 3 over 5. That is our slope. So I went ahead and I listed the 3 numbers that I know. I decided to use this ordered pair right here, the negative or the 25, 25. So I got my y, which was 25. I got my m, which is negative 3/5. That's my slope. And I got my x, which is also 25. So I can go ahead and plug that into my equation. My y equals mx plus b equation. My y, we said, was 25. My slope is negative 3/5 times my x, which is also 25. And then from there, I can add b. Now all I have to do is solve. So first step, negative 3/5 times 25 is negative 15. We have plus b, and that equals 25. Next, go ahead and add 15 to both sides, and we get b equals 40. So now I have my b, and I have my slope. So I have my y-intercept, and I have my slope. I can plug that back into my y equals mx plus b. We get y equals negative 3/5 x plus 40. And there is my equation. And just to be clear, you can go ahead and ignore everything over here. That is a mistake. Have a wonderful day.